In the fall of 2013, Doris and I decided that it was time to complete our journey down the Danube River, a journey that began with the upper Danube in 2011. We packed our bags and headed to Hungary to begin our adventure on the lower Danube from Budapest to Bucharest. We arrived in Budapest on October 24th. We checked into our hotel that evening and decided to explore our immediate surroundings before our first full day the following morning. On our first full day, we crossed over the Danube to Castle Hill, where we explored Fisherman's Bastion. Finished in 1902, this terrace plaza was built Neo-Gothic and Neo-Romanesque style. It surrounds Matthias Church, Trinity Square, and has a lovely view of the Danube below. Matthias Church is a beautifully designed church that has taken many forms over the past 10 centuries. Its current form was built Neo-Romanesque style and finished in the late 19th century. After taking in the sights of Castle Hill, we ventured back across the river to Hero Square and the Museum of Fine Arts. Doris and I finished the evening at a nearby hotel where we enjoyed a traditional Hungarian folk dinner. The dinner featured an elegant meal, fabulous music, and a Hungarian bottle dance, the highlight of the show. On day 3, everyone in the travel group was encouraged to explore on their own. Doris and I visited St. Stephen's Square, the great synagogue, and took in an impressive view of the Danube from Goyette Hill. On day 4, we disembarked our ship in Galaxa and headed towards the city center. There we observed the Baroque architecture of the Archbishop's Palace and the Assumption Cathedral. We then headed to a horse farm and, to Doris's delight, took in an equestrian show. On day 5, we arrived in Osijek, the fourth largest city in Croatia. We observed the Baroque architecture as well as many different types of art and sculptures. These pieces are influenced by a wide range of subjects, such as agriculture, religion, and war. From Osijek, we traveled 36 miles downriver to Vukovar, Croatia's largest river port. It is also the site of the Battle of Vukovar and 87-day siege, which began in August of 1991 as part of the Croatian War of Independence. Vukovar saw some of the worst destruction in Europe since World War II, and a war-damaged water tower is left standing to act as a reminder of these events. The next stop on our journey was Belgrade. We first explored the Old Town and toured St. Sava, one of the largest Orthodox cathedrals in the world. The Belgrade Synagogue is a neoclassical design and is currently the only fully active Jewish place of worship in Belgrade. We spent the afternoon at the famed Belgrade Fortress, which has existed in some form for over 2,000 years. Contained within the fortress is Kalemegdan Park, the largest park and most important historical monument in Belgrade. We left the park after our tour, headed back into town to do some sightseeing, and took in a traditional dance show to end the day. Day 7 greeted us with a beautiful morning fog as we began our journey through the picturesque Iron Gate region of the lower Danube. Seeing these enormous limestone cliffs was a dramatic experience for me, as I was not expecting to be so taken by their beauty. We began day 8 in the town of Vidin, and after breakfast we boarded a motor coach and headed towards Bela Gradčík fortress. Here we explored many terraced courtyards and took in impressive views of a variety of natural rock formations. After lunch, we explored the town of Vidin on our own and found the city to be replete with a rich history and many fascinating landmarks to explore. Day 9 began with a tour through the lovely countryside of Bulgaria to Veliko Tarnovo. Here we journeyed to Zarevets Hill, where we viewed the ruins of the royal castle and took in dramatic views of the town around us. The afternoon was spent on Samovodska Charsia, a street with traditional old buildings and many shops with excellent handmade crafts and other souvenirs. We finished off the day exploring Arbanatsy, a lovely historic village with a quaint tavern and a hotel with old-world charm. The gray skies perfectly expressed my mood on our journey toward Bucharest. The public buildings we passed were drab and uninspired, reflective of the former communist regime. My mood quickly changed upon arrival at the National Village Museum, a space dedicated to traditional Romanian village life, which I found to be quite amusing. It was interesting to see the progress of peasant architecture over the centuries, and the preservation of that history was well displayed. The last stop of our journey was at the Patriarchal Cathedral, a rather somber finish to an otherwise memorable trip. I will say that overall this trip with Doris down the lower Danube had some exciting moments, but I will vote for a more architecturally significant destination for our continued trips.